Time now for a look at your health. With all of the diets out there that are available, there's one that's being lauded by doctors all over the world for doing wonders for your heart. Dr. Mitchel Goldman from UCSD is here to tell us all about the Mediterranean diet and why it is so healthy. Thank you for being here.
Good to be here.
Let's talk about first, before we talk about how it evolved, what's in this diet?
Well, the diet's actually really easy. Essentially, it's fish. Limit your red meat to only maybe once a week. Eat a lot of fish, chicken, and then the other way to get your protein is with nuts, tree nuts especially, like almonds, as well as beans and legumes. And then olive oil. Olive oil is the best way to get fats, rich in omega acids, which makes for decreased heart disease. And then finally, a glass of wine a day. A Cabernet or a Pinot are probably the best, the red wines, and that also does wonders.
Okay, we're going to talk more about why that it does do wonders, but first, there's a really interesting story how the Mediterranean diet came to be. Tell us about that.
Well, after World War II, a lot of Europe was devastated, especially around the Mediterranean, and the people there couldn't afford to have cattle or meat, and so they basically had a low-cost diet, and a low-cost diet was olive oil, because olive trees were everywhere. Fish, the Mediterranean has wonderful fish, and then tree nuts. And so they started basically eating a very low cost meal with a little bit of wine to sort of give them some fortitude, and that became the Mediterranean diet. You know, they didn't lose weight, they just didn't get heart disease, and that's what the diet's all about.
So how did doctors discover that this was a healthy way to live?
In this week's New England Journal of Medicine, they actually followed 7,447 people in Spain who were using the Mediterranean diet versus other people that were using a regular diet with a lot of red meat processed foods. And they found out that the people on the Mediterranean diet had almost half the incidence of heart disease as the people that were using a regular diet.
But if you need to lose weight, say you're diabetic or something like that, or simply overweight, is this still a way to go? Can you still have a healthy, weight and not just a healthy heart with this diet?
Absolutely. You know, every week we talk about diet and exercise, and Kathleen, no matter what kind of diet, it all ends up being calories in and calories out. So the more you exercise and the fewer calories you take in, the more you'll lose weight.
Well, let's talk about the red wine in particular, because we get a lot of mixed messages about alcohol in general. We've heard red wine is good, but you're saying a glass a day, because I was just at a new physician's office, and when you have to check the box if you drink and how often, if I put a drink a day, I feel like I would get scolded. Now, why is that okay?
Well, I would never scold you.
Thank you.
Just a glass of wine, especially red a day, is actually fine. There have been so many studies now that have shown that the antioxidants in red wine really do wonders for you, about lowering your cholesterol levels, and it makes you feel good too.
That is true. It improves the mood. Let's talk about a moment about how this differs from a vegetarian or a vegan diet, because those are two things that people have been told also that are a much healthier way to live.
Yes.
How does this compare to that?
It actually does compare to it. The only thing is, unlike a vegan diet, we're supplementing the proteins from fruits, from nuts, and with actual meat, fish products. And you can, on a Mediterranean diet, have chicken or white meat. But a big difference is the use of olive oil, because olive oil is actually very high in the omega acids, and you can do it on a vegan diet and a vegetarian diet as well. So it's more like a vegetarian diet with an emphasis on nuts and fish.
All right, and it won't break you at the bank either. So
and
that's
it's wonderful. So y'all can eat it after I'm done.
All right, and if you don't mind, you could just leave that bottle of wine right here, Dr. G, and that would be just fine with Walter and I.
Well, actually, I prefer he walk it over here.
Oh, okay.
All right.